Good morning. It's 9 o'clock BC time. Our clocks went, they went ahead today for as we move into the winter time. And of course, I forgot to tell everybody that through fact that I forgot for a while. All of a sudden it was, oh my goodness, yes. So it seems like I've been up forever. But it's 9 o'clock, and here I am with a Sunday thought. Very often I ponder on what exactly to talk about on my Sunday thought, and have even pondered about not doing it, but a lot of people seem to enjoy it, which is great. So I'm talking about perseverance today. I've done a number of things in my life, and really, no one ever sat me down and said, when you're in life, you have to learn how to persevere. No one ever explained it to me. They never took a dictionary and say, read this. This is what it means. They just never ever thought. It's probably considered it's something that we just know or we learn as we go along. But do we? I have a resilience of when I want to do something, I learn, I work, I do what needs to be done to get wherever it is I need to go. So I do understand perseverance, and I was really surprised when I was, contemplating and thinking, what am I going to talk about on Sunday? And this word popped into my mind, and I went and I had to think about it for some times, because I looked back over my life and realized how much I did have to persevere. I just took it for natural so things that I needed to do or to work or to, whether I was in the workplace, whether I was with my home, relationship, husbands, etc., children growing up and all their things that go on with kids growing up. No one actually says, learn about perseverance and make it an integral part of yourself, because we do have to persevere sometimes. Then when you get older, sometimes like myself, well, actually even through my life, I had certain health issues, mostly because I was a sports jock when I was young and hurt myself doing various things. And that sort of continued at times. So there was health issues I had to persevere with. There's relationships issues I had to persevere with. I ran my own business for many years, so there were business things I had to persevere with. And even as an employer, as a typist, I typed for many years. Actually, I started working as a typist at 15 because I was raised in a household that when I was 15, even though I wanted to go on further in education, I had to go to work. And I'd learned how to type. So that's what I did for many years. And then even when I came to Canada and got a job, I was very much typing as well. So it's like you learn to persevere with issues. You learn how to handle them. You learn how to work with them. But as I said, no one sat down and said, you need to persevere with this, or you need to, it was a given somehow, or it wasn't a given. But it is something I think that we do with things. Especially our relationships that we want to maintain and keep. Yeah, that's part of it. So anyway, I looked at my little guide box this morning because I wanted to see how that would work. I don't look at a lot of cards, but I poke and say, okay, I need something. And I just love this one. It says, I'm going to show it to you in a minute. Dear God, please give me patience and give it to me now. And there's a sign of this hand going down. And I see if I can get this in here and see if you can see it. I just cracked up when I saw this came up. I looked at maybe 4 cards and I went, yeah, patience, perseverance. They both start with P. We learn patience, and people say, oh, be patient. But really what we're doing is we're persevering, because we're having to deal with the things that are going on. So, it's really about, how does that work? What does that say? After all, we want to achieve in our lives what we want to achieve with ease and grace. And, sometimes it isn't easy. Sometimes things happen. If you've raised kids, that's can be very, very true. The second one I chose, excuse me, I just need a little sip of water here. it says, and again, I'll show you in a minute, tune in, turn it over, act from inspiration. And as I get that sorted there, oh, my finger's in the way. Hang on a sec. There we go. Look at the lovely little, it's almost like a unity symbol if you're aware of unity churches. Tune in, turn it over, act from inspiration. Turn it over, yeah, but that doesn't take away your responsibility to persevere through the situation. Turning it over is God's will. And I haven't talked about God's will in these sessions. I'm going to touch on it with this. Often over my life, people have said, oh, you created what you wanted. And we've talked a lot about goal setting, and I've done, because I really believe in, write down your goals, which is coming. It's not that far away. New Year's, I like to spend New Year's Day writing goals out. And then maybe I'll look at them sometime through the year, and usually surprised that some of them have achieved. Oh, I did that. So when we look at turning it over, what does that really mean? It doesn't mean letting go. It means that it's like those of us that have any form of prayer or thinking in relation to the higher power. What we do when we want something, we visualize it as really well as we can, and then we let it go by saying, if this is to my higher good, then let me have that. And I have had, and I've said on some of the shows, some of the miracles that happened, and they don't all happen all the time, but every now and again, this amazing, and this one time, this amazing thing happened, and it happened in several areas that made a thing come together in my life, a big changing. It was like a big change point. It was like coming to crossroads, and I had basically kind of said, I need some help here. And not even really consciously being aware I did that, but I know how my mind works. But the results were phenomenal. Answers came from all sorts of different places. And where I ended up with work, I ended up with a house, free of rent, by the way. And I ended up helping also friends of mine that needed help. So it was like being aware, and I became aware. It wasn't like I put in saying, I want this, this, and this. Sometimes I find people are very rigid in their goals. It was just like I was at a place where nothing was really working and I was really stuck. But in a sense, it was an beginning of a huge opening time period in my life that followed the years that followed after that. Not very succinct this morning, am I? Guess the time difference, even though, but yeah, I've been awake for, it seems like hours, because I woke up the regular time. And anyway, perseverance. So when we're given something, when we're given a challenge, when we're given something that we want, it's not like I want to just, okay, here's my glass of water. If I hang on really tight to this glass of water, what can get in? What can get in when you're tight? You got to be fluid. That's where the belief, that's where all the elements that we talk about, and believing in a power, and believing in, I call it the love source, because that's how it feels to me when I connect to it. So it's like knowing that, and then knowing that you can move through anything. You can persevere. You may not like it. There's a lot of things that happen in life we don't like, but there's always an ending of the vibration. And if you don't like the vibration, you work to see I believe in asking a lot, like, okay, what's new? What happens next? Where do I go from here? What do I do? And I listen to those little voices that come in, tell me things at times. Sometimes not as much lately as I used to, but it's there because I'm not doing that much anymore, except talking to you through my computer. Good old computer. And just beginning now to work on my bookkeeping for the year, and it's being a challenge because I forget what I do from year to year these days. Anyhow, I want you to think about where you have been persevering, so you can remember that you have strength, you have a knowingness, you are clear on where you want to go, and that there is support for you if you allow it. See, what happens a lot is that people want to do it themselves, and they have this great sense of individuality and strength and power. But we're really not alone. And the thing is, sometimes we just have to ask for clarity. I've done that many times. Can I have some clarity here, please? And somehow or other, it's like the fog lifts and there it is. It's clear and you know the direction that you're heading in and where you're wanting. So that's my Sunday thought for today with perseverance and to keep going. You know, the old thing, the little train that could and did, because it just kept going. And we keep going. And when we keep going, we persevere. It's a word that you don't hear. No one says to you, just persevere. And that's what I thought when the word popped in my head when I was contemplating, what am I going to talk about on Sunday morning? And this word popped in and I went, you just don't hear that word, but it's behind everything we do that has any kind of struggle in it or intention or time. So I'm going to wish you well. And before that, the other day I forgot to mention people who put their names in. So for Karen, says good morning. And thanking me, Perseverance is her middle name. I think for most of us, but we just don't think about it. We just go with that. And Yvonne came in a little bit. They thank you for being on and letting me know, because otherwise, why would I do this? You know, what am I doing? Just want to hear my own voice? No, it's not true at all. But I ask that I can aid and help those in some ways. And I often have a different way of putting things than a lot of other people. So just remember our two little thoughts today. Dear God, please give me patience. And we're going to reply that perseverance to give it to me now. Because sometimes we really need it now. And the other one was tune in, turn it over, act from inspiration. Well, have a good week. I'll be back tomorrow night with mental mind treatments. Always one of my favorites for sure. And then again, on Wednesday, I have to think about that now soon. But anyway, you have a great day. For North America, I believe we're all North America. We've gone ahead an hour. So I'm so thankful with Karen and Yvonne being on, because most people would thought I was on an hour ago. But I was watching the tennis final in Paris, the indoor game in Paris, and our Canadian lost, which we kind of knew, but he played a great game. He persevered. Blessings to all of you. Bye now.